good morning, or afternoon or evening, depending on what time of day you are watching this. Hope we're all doing well. I don't know whether to laugh or cry at David Lammy. It's a mixture of both. The laughing, of course, is not laughing with him. That would be assuming that he's being funny and he knows he's being funny. The laughing would be, unfortunately, at him because he has absolutely no clue how dense he sounds every time he opens his mouth. It worries me. It really, really worries me that somebody like David Lammy has made his way into politics to this position of Foreign Secretary. It worries me on so many levels, but mainly that in our precarious world that we're in right now, we have got this buffoon in that position. It might sound harsh, but wait until you see what I'm going to show you, then you'll understand. So let's just remind ourselves of some of the amazing things that David Lammy has said before. So David has said it's probably the case that trans women don't have ovaries, but a cervix, I understand, is something you can have following various procedures and hormone treatments. Yep, that's David Lammy. That's the Foreign Secretary. It's probably the case that trans women don't have ovaries. It's not probably the case, David, is it? Did you not do biology at school? Did you miss that part out? I can tell you categorically, it is definitely the case that women have ovaries and trans women don't have ovaries. That's because women have ovaries because they're women, and trans women don't have ovaries because they're not. So probably wasn't necessarily needed in that sentence. You can have the arguments about them all. I'm not saying anything other than factually, David, women have ovaries, trans women don't. So if you're going to come out with statements like that, it's no wonder that every time you open your mouth, we go, oh my God, what is this idiot going to do next? Well, this is what this idiot is going to do next. And you know, idiot might seem like a harsh term, but we've just had a look at why we are calling him an idiot, and then we're going to have that backed up by this little video here of where a Reform MP, Sarah Pochin, asked, I think, quite a pertinent question. I'm up there with Sarah on this. I'm going to put my neck on the line. I think this was a great question from Sarah, and you can have a little look at her delivering the question and how David responds to it. And obviously technology is high in this house, so I'm showing you my phone. It'll probably get updates as we go along. Just ignore them. Have a little look at this.
Sarah Pochin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the Foreign Secretary, is he able to explain to the House whether the United States felt unable to use the Diego Garcia base and have to refuel in a highly dangerous operation 3 times because of that, because of your deal that you did with the Mauritians that would then tell the Chinese, that would then tell the Iranians?
The Honourable Lady has got to get off social media.
Yeah.
Has got to get some help. Has got to get some help because she's swallowing conspiracy theories that should not be repeated in this house.
You raise what's happening
I mean,
in Gaza there.
I ask you, it's not her that needs to get the help, David. It's not her. So first of all, can we address the guffawing laughter from the Labour front bench? That wasn't funny. It's not a joke. This isn't stand-up. This is the House as a Parliament. This is not there for the cheap laughs. We are not there for that. We are there to answer questions. David Lammy can't answer the question. He has no way to answer the question. So instead, the Honourable Lady needs to get off social media. No, David Lammy needs to answer the question, and he needs to get on social media, because if he got on social media, he would see what the great British public are writing and thinking about him. And this isn't a minority. I have to say, David, this is not a minority of people who don't think you're fit for purpose. This is a majority of people that don't think you're fit for purpose. Even stalwart Labour supporters think you are a bit of a waste of space. So not only is that utterly condescending, completely irrelevant to the question she's asked, and only shows that David Lammy clearly can't answer the question, because if it was a yes, he would, and if it was a no, he would. But he couldn't give it a yes or a no, could he? So that says more about the answer than it does about David Lammy. And it does about Sarah Pochin. So what it shows is that she's got integrity. She's asked a very good question that absolutely deserves an answer. But as ever, it's the Labour Party. Deflect, deflect, deflect. If you can't answer it, if you don't know what it is, throw in a cheap gag. We'll pretend we're live at the Apollo and it'll all be really funny. It's not funny. It's the security of our nation. You can give us as many underfunded defence spending claims as you like. You can tell us, oh, well, now it's all kicking off over there, so we're going to spend more money on defence. How? Where's that budget coming from? You don't know. You haven't got it. You don't know how you're going to do it. And this is for 10 years' time. So you can give us all that crap. We don't believe any of that, but what we want is answers to questions that are raised in the Houses of Parliament. It's really simple. It's what politicians should do. They should be accountable, but not David Lammy. No, he goes for the cheap gags. Get off social media, Sarah. No, Sarah, you stay exactly where you are and you look at what the response is to your question and you look at the response to his answer. And you will see that the majority are also, Sarah, with you. They would like an answer as well. So we go on to David Lammy's CV, and we've got a little bit more about this. So he was asked by Ben Obese-Jecty MP what David Lammy would do in the event Iran launched a retaliatory strike on the US. Now, this was before they did do that. And David Lammy avoided this by referring Ben to 2.13 of the Ministerial Code. That was his answer. I refer you to 2.13 of the Ministerial Code. Well, Ben has tweeted, quite rightly, there is no 2.13 to the Ministerial Code. It doesn't exist. So why would David say that? Would David say that because he doesn't know the Ministerial Code, because he doesn't know what he's talking about, because he can't answer the question, because he hasn't got the answers to the question, because he's not abreast of what's going on over in Iran, because let's be honest with you, nor is Keir Starmer, none of the Labour Party are, because they've been cut out by President Trump. So nobody can answer anything because it's embarrassing to say we've been cut out by President Trump. He hasn't come to us. He's realised that we're not going to do anything. We're not going to back him and we're not going to back them. We're just going to sit on the fence. We're not going either way. So he's been outed, and Trump is going off and doing whatever he wants to do, and Starmer can't admit that he's been cut out of that little gang now. So we're not answering questions. We're deflecting by making up ministerial codes. Amazing. And this man is our Foreign Secretary. Well, if that doesn't inspire a vote of no confidence, I don't know what does. But what I would say to Sarah, keep going. Keep asking those questions, because he might not be able to answer them, but you can bet your bottom dollar somebody who knows what they're talking about can. And the more fuel to that fire will, of course, show him in the true light that he really is, which is absolutely not fit for purpose. A bit of a cretin, to be honest with you. A bit of a smarmy cretin. And again, I say that based on how he responded to her. I say that based on his tone, his delivery and his intention and his context on how he delivered that message to her. His demeaning, get off social media. She's an MP. She should be, and I think she is, taking her role seriously. She is acting on behalf of those who voted them in wherever they are, and her position. She is not standing there just for shits and giggles because she can't be asked to go and do a day at the office or something. She's there responding to and acting on the public's demands, which are ask these questions. And he, in the elected House, in the elected Parliament, he is not answering them because he can't. She's shown him up for what he is. And he, like Phillipson and Reeves and Rayner and Starmer, needs to hand their notice in, get their P45s and trot off to the Chagos Islands. I don't care where you're going, but it needs to not be this country, because the damage and harm that you are doing minute by minute is only going to give the next government reason to say it was their fault. And in this case, it really was.